Hey there, everybody. My name is Runt9, and welcome back to Runt9 Plays. And today we're going to be playing Siralim 3. This is a really fun monster collection game that involves a lot of battling, grinding, gear, leveling up, awesome abilities, and it's really just a whole bunch of fun. Now, I played a lot of Siralim 2 before, maybe less than a year ago, and I picked up Siralim 3 recently and have been enjoying it thus far. I kind of just started, but I've got a full team of 6 characters, and as we play, we'll take a look at the different abilities and the different items and all that kind of stuff. So first, let me just show you my current party, and then we'll just dive right into a realm and do some battling. So we've got this Ugat, which the trait here is after this creature attacks or is attacked, it gains 50% of its lowest stat. Kind of useful, not so good in this party, but like I said, I'm just starting out, so I'm still getting my synergies together. We've got a Troll Knife Juggler, which says after an ally attacks, this creature deals damage to the target equal to 20% of its speed. Keep the speed note in mind as we go through the rest of these. This one is your creature's nature spells cast one additional time. This trait does not stack. Your creature's attacks deal 40% of their damage using speed instead of attack. This trait does not stack. Alright, so here's where we're starting to get a little bit of interest going on, a little bit of synergy going on in this party. This one is your creatures can cast Shell Bust and it costs 0 mana. Fairly useful, but I haven't found it to be the most useful thing in the world. Depends on what we're fighting against. And then we've got Zealot of the Forest, and this is the big one. This is where combos really start getting powerful. At the start of this creature's turn, it increases your other creature's speed by 30% of this creature's speed, then it loses its turn. Well, so in this case, if Troll Juggler gets extra speed, its Fan of Knives gets more powerful. And if we're casting nature spells that do 40% extra damage based off of speed, well, see, this just sounds great, honestly. So each creature has its own statistics, their health, mana, attack, intelligence, defense, and speed. Health is pretty straightforward. That's a one-to-one correlation to hit points. Mana is a one-to-one correlation to mana as far as how big the mana pool is for being able to cast spells, which we'll get to spells in just a moment. There's attack, which when you just do the normal basic attack in battle, how much damage does it do? Intelligence has to do with damage from spells. Defense is, I believe, subtracted from attack when you're hit with an attack. And then speed determines initiative order, and in our case also helps determine attack power. Each creature has the ability to equip an artifact, which can have a bunch of different effects. I'm not going to dive into it too much right now, but I'll just kind of click through these so you can see what everybody has. But we'll kind of focus on things a little bit more once we get certain abilities. Each creature gains certain stats when it levels up, which every creature has different level up stats, which can matter quite a bit, honestly. Spell gems are the meat here, though. We have a few starting spell gems, and if we go into manage spell gems, we can put some more on here. Meteor Shower actually seems like one that we should give to our highest intelligence creature. Which actually, it seems like Forest Priest would actually be a pretty good one to have. But Forest Priest is life, so actually we can't do that. But I do think it has class swap life on it, so I think instead of Morph Nature, it'll probably do life instead, which is not what we want. So highest intelligence, nature. And so I guess I should probably explain there's 5 different classes of spells and creature types in the game. There's nature, life, death, chaos, and sorcery. And they're all strong against one or the other. I believe life is strong against death. Death is strong against something. In fact, why don't I just go to the library and take a look here? One of these is going to tell us Creature classes. So life beats death, death beats chaos, chaos beats sorcery, sorcery beats nature, nature beats life. So for us, we really want to try to make sure that we face life enemies whenever possible and avoid, I already forgot, we want to avoid facing sorcery if at all possible. So anyways, back to our creatures. For character sheets, highest intelligence is going to be on Imp Sacrificer here. So it already has Morph Nature, but let's go ahead and give it Meteor Shower. That'll come in handy. And I don't care too much about the other ones at the moment. And there's strategy, backup strategy. This one loses its turn, so we can kind of safely ignore it. This one we're going to do, nope, not extract. We're going to do cast. And yeah, that's good. Let's go ahead and hop into a realm. I just beat the boss on Realm Depth 3, so we're going to dive into 4. So Realm Depths scale infinitely. And that's kind of where this game gets into a grind. But for the moment, we're in the main storyline, and so there's different things that are going to happen as we kind of level up here. As we go through the game, we'll go on increasing realm depths. In this case, we want to extract because these are creatures that we haven't seen before. Actually, we have. I did do one battle at realm depth 4 last night, and then decided to stop for the evening in the middle of a realm, which wasn't necessarily the smartest thing I've ever done. I think I want to just open with a fire arrow on the Raven Acolyte. And so again, we have the ability for nature spells to cast an extra time. You saw the speed boost come in there. We're going to drop a Gem of Morph Nature on everyone. For, again, some extra speed. Alright, so with our Troll Knife Juggler, we probably do want to go ahead and do a Frost Arrow on the next Ancient Grimoire that'd be coming up. So again, with the ability to cast a nature spell in extra time, that's definitely good for us. Class swap chaos on that's not particularly fun. Are we going to need mend? We probably will want mend so that they can heal in between turns. So mend is just a small bit of regeneration, and casting it a second time in this case doesn't actually do anything. I don't think I care too much about Mindstorm. Don't have very high intelligence, but we are going to go ahead and do a Shell Bust on Ancient Grimoire because it has a chance to attack, and it'll cast twice, which lowering the defense is good for us. Alright, didn't quite do what we wanted there. Let's go ahead and do a Fire Arrow on this Arcane Familiar, which should kill it. There we go, got that taken care of. There's our speed boost. And at this point, we're pretty much out of mana other than a Shell Bust. So I think I'm just going to attack and take out that guy there, and then we'll just attack. And so one thing it's going to tell us, actually it already told us, is that we could do turbo mode, which can make the grind a little bit easier. I'm going to not do that right now because I don't think I'm quite ready. And so you also noticed that we have 5 different kinds of resources. There is, at the top, there's Brimstone, Crystal. Oh, I don't remember exactly what they are. Can we do it from items, materials, miscellaneous? Okay. I don't remember what those all are. Well, unfortunately, I wanted to be able to tell everyone the actual names of all of those, but we'll look at them next time that we finish a battle, as it'll give us some rewards, and that'll at least help. So there's Power, which I believe is this one. I believe this is, no, Power is the last one. This one's Granite. This is Stardust or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but basically they're used for certain things like summoning creatures and crafting new items, and later on we'll be able to do enchantments. There's a bunch of different things that they're useful for. yeah, we don't want to teleport out yet. So granite power essence. Essence is the pink one in the middle. Giggity. Ultimately, what we're shooting for here is to just kind of go around, fight some battles, gain some resources, gain some favor with the god of this realm, which is this guy. I don't want to make a donation, but we do want to take this item to the summoning brazier to summon a new Jinn illusionist with the following trait. This creature deals 10% more damage up to 400% with spells for each point of mana it is missing. Which is pretty cool if we could turn it into nature and then make it use nature spells, but I don't think it's going to be useful. Not have enough emblems. Oh, that's to buy one. So multi-strike, I don't know how that helps us. So again, I'm still going to have to remember how all of this works. We'll actually talk about what that is in a minute. So one of the main aspects of this game is breeding. And so you can breed different kinds of creatures, and let me make sure that we have a core of each of these, which we do. We don't need another Imp Sacrificer core right now, but in the future, once we start breeding, we will. So breeding is important because you can only get certain creatures through breeding, and sometimes you have to breed through multiple levels. And what I mean by breeding through multiple levels is essentially, if you breed a creature, breed one creature with another creature, you get some unique creature. Well, if you do that a second time, then you get another unique creature. And so you go through multiple levels of breeding to get some of the most powerful creatures in the game. Troll Knife Juggler, Frost Arrow, we'll drop that down on the Plague Alchemist and try to kill it. So getting the breeding compendiums tells you what different combinations are available. Now, of course, you could just go on a wiki and read all that stuff, which is what I did in Siralim 2. But I want to maintain the mystery a little bit this time and kind of play around and play the game the way that it was meant to be played. Which may sound a little bit snobby, and I apologize if that's the case, but also you can see how much damage we did with a basic attack plus Fan of Knives from our Troll Juggler there, really based off the fact that we have the speed bonuses kind of stacking up and how powerful that can be. Mend is putting in work for us there, and apparently my keyboard is futzing with me, so we got an attack and Fan of Knives there. So you saw that we gained a bit of each resource there. I had totally meant to actually show the resources, but unfortunately that did not happen. We've got this altar. So there you go. There's a breeding compendium. So it tells us that a Glade Watcher and an Ancient Grimoire together creates a Coast Watcher. And so I'm sure that you could take a Coast Watcher and breed it with something else, and it would give you another unique creature that has an even more powerful ability. And probably better base stats. Or not base stats, but spells on level up. I mean, stats on level up. Gosh, I don't know why I am incapable of forming coherent English sentences today. So we're really just exploring this realm, and realms are randomly generated. I'm pretty sure we have one of each of these. So we're going to go ahead and drop a fire arrow on this Rift Dancer. It's going to smack us in the face here in a moment if we don't. There's some speed there, which is great. Let's go ahead and do a Morph Nature, which we may not necessarily need to do. And again, we could do turbo mode to make these fights go quicker, which I will probably do in a future episode. But for the moment, I kind of want to keep playing through in the normal way, I guess, just so you guys can kind of get used to how the battle system works in Siralim. I think I will just attack Plague Alchemist here. We got a double attack there, which is great. Do we want a Frost Arrow? I think we do want a Frost Arrow this guy. And you see, the more you fight a particular enemy, the more knowledge you gain on them. So you can tell that when we inspect this, we can see their stats, we can see their ability, but also now we can see health and mana bars because we've faced it enough. And this is something new in Siralim 3 that wasn't in Siralim 2 that I found to be very interesting to have. It's nice to be able to see the health bars, and so I think the further along in the game we get, the more of these types of things we'll have. So we'll just do a basic attack here to finish him off, and then we'll probably just do an attack here, which may be enough, and it was. We can just move on. We got some XP. We actually leveled up ourselves, which means that we have more perk points to spend. We have 8 unspent points. So they're actually called deity points. You can tell there's a lot of different things here that you can spend it on. The main thing that I'm working on increasing here is speed, because obviously I'm kind of going for some speed synergies. I also want acrobatics, but it says points until next rank is 4. I've only got 3 points. So I'm going to kind of just pocket the rest of them here. We'll keep running around grabbing these, and then we'll go into another battle here. Again, opening with Shellbust on Ancient Grimoire. Sure, why not? That's fine. Should knock it out pretty easily. Alright, so we got that. Speed bonus, Morph Nature. So I think that everyone's kind of got a feel for things. So I'm going to do a little bit of the programming, quote unquote, so that we can just hold down E and do turbo mode. Because pretty much everyone is going to do one thing every time. And I think that we may even be able to program it with macros. I'm going to try a Shell Bust for the stun, but I don't think it's actually going to do a whole lot of damage, which is perfectly fine. I think we'll drop a Frost Arrow on the Plague Alchemist here. I mean, he's stunned, so it doesn't matter too much, but we'll go ahead and kill him off. We could do another Fire Arrow on Raven Acolyte here, which will obviously be a quick and easy kill. Ancient Grimoire is stunned, more speed, and then I think at this point we'll just finish everything off with attacks. Got our double attacks, which is great. So we're getting some good resources here. I think that I'm ready to set up our strategies, backup strategies, and so I think what we have to do is set our default. So this is going to be the default selection, backup, primary strategy cast. Backup strategy is going to be to attack. Now macros I haven't messed with, so I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. And so I haven't done macros before. Maybe something that I need to mess with off camera. But I think it's going to be really interesting to have that ability available to us. And so we'll set this as the default selection. And then backup strategy will be to attack. And then for you, primary spell gem is going to be Morph Nature. It's going to be the default. And then backup strategy is going to be to attack. Strategy cast, backup strategy attack. Make sure that Mindstorm is your default selection. This one, backup strategy attack. Spell gems, Nourish is going to be your default selection. But I only want him to cast it at the beginning of the battle. I don't know if that's going to work. And actually, we don't really need to do anything here. I don't know why. Yeah, I didn't give it a spell gem. That's good, because it just uses its ability and loses its turn. So I don't think this is going to work exactly like I want it to. We'll try, assuming that we run into another battle, we'll try just holding E and seeing what happens. I doubt that it's going to work the way that we would hope, however. So we're going to try to look at the map and see where we haven't been. We're going to go down this little section here. Gotta make sure that we explore everything, because you never know when you'll find a hidden chest or something that, just like that, has some more brimstone, nothing of interest there. More chest, more resources. So we're in a battle, so I'm just going to enter turbo mode, which I think... I'm like sitting here pressing it quickly, which may be fine. I don't know if this is necessarily how it's supposed to work. It's been a while since I've done this. So I think maybe I have to enable turbo mode. Like I said, it has been a little bit since I played Siralim 2, so I have to... Yep. So we need to turn on turbo mode here. Oh, I have to use the arrow keys. Okay. Summoning filter, reading filter. All right. So we'll try that. Alright, I think there's still a little bit more exploring to do. We've gone up there. Oh, let's talk to this guy. What class does the in-air Rift Dancer belong to? We've been doing bonus damage against it, so I think it's life. There we go, and we got a handful of power. Go us. We just got a Gem of Shock. I did not actually look at what it does. Did we not just get a Gem of Shock? Maybe it just automatically gave it to somebody? Man, I should have read that a little closer. Oh, so because we don't get it until we actually exit the realm. That's right. We have to finish going through the realm, which I think we've done the realm quest, and it looks like we've explored everything. So let's go ahead and exit the realm then. Let's teleport back to Nex. So now we will have the spell gem, Gem of Shock. Enemies take a moderate amount of damage, plus 20% more damage for each debuff they have, then all enemies' debuffs are removed. That seems pretty good. I do like the fact that it hits everything. So AoE is nice to have, for sure. So we're going to want to figure out which one we want to put that on, though. Yeah, he is sorcery, so we can't give that to him. What spell gem does he have? He's using Nourish. I want to set, if possible, I want to give Shock. I want that to be secondary. So after you cast Nourish, cast Shock. So I think this is where I need to play around with macros. And we're going to do this live on camera and see what happens. So let's edit macro 1. Add line. If this creature... Nope. Any ally. If enemy... Okay. Well, that's not quite what I would want. I want, if it's first turn... If this creature... is on turn X, it's taken less than X turns, is on turn X, is temporary singular. Okay, so has taken less than 2 turns, is on turn 1, cast Nourish. Okay, there we go. All right, so after it casts Nourish, add line, if this creature has greater than X mana. So it has 33 mana and needs how much for Shock? Mana cost is 16. So if it has, let's go back to macros, edit macro, macro 1, add line. If this creature has greater than 16 mana, then cast Shock. Otherwise, if this creature has less than 16 mana, attack a random enemy. And so this is going to be rename macro macro1, and let's name it nourish shock attack. That's a bit of a long name, but that's fine. And so what I want to do is, and we're not going to do this for every character, I'll do the rest of them off stream, but I kind of just want to see if this works the way that I want it to. So we're going to assign that macro to it, and then strategy is going to be macro backup strategy attack. And so theoretically, if we look at macro, we've assigned that macro to it. View edit notes. I think what this means is it's going to use that macro by default in turbo mode. I don't think there's anything we wanted to summon. I don't think so. So the Plague Alchemist does work well with the fact that literally everybody can cast Shellbust, because this will deal extra damage on top of Shellbust, but I'm not sure I care too much about that synergy right now. More intelligence is good, but we're trying to focus on speed. Not useful there, and then that's nice, but I don't care too much. And so we're going to pop on up to the blacksmith here, and forge, create a new artifact that has no properties, random properties. So we've got essence and granite, which we've got thousands of. Bonuses to attack is kind of what I want right now. So we got attack. So each artifact can have up to 6 special enchantments, I guess, on it. And then later on we'll get an enchanter and we can mess with this ourselves. But for the moment, I think that this one is pretty decent. Afflict Blind is good. Less damage from nature is fine. Spell damage is definitely good. So let's craft a couple more swords. Attack 22, a trait Wallop, which I do not know what Wallop does. We'll have to look at that. Gain critical on hit is great. More damage to sorcery is fantastic. And then we'll craft one more, I'd say. Because we're going for a pretty heavy attack team right now. There we go. Speed 13%. That's a great one. Afflict scored on hit, spell damage 26%. That's good. And what I want to do here now is I actually want to craft a defensive one for our life mage, life priest. Defense, we're kind of hoping for speed here. I don't know what Boon to Bane does. We'll have to take a look at that. I was kind of hoping for a speed increase, but that's not too bad. Boon to Bane, when an enemy creature would gain a buff, they have a 50% chance to gain a debuff instead. That's not bad. And I believe traits stack. It doesn't replace the traits. While after this creature attacks, it decreases the defense of the target and enemies adjacent to the target by 40%. Also very good. So let's go to our creatures, take a look at the artifacts. Yeah, this artifact doesn't particularly matter. We'll give it this one for now, but does it mess with it? So it gives it both traits, I believe. Again, I was kind of hoping to get something that would increase its speed, but can we re-roll an artifact's stat slot values? So what this means is we can select one of these and re-roll the range on these values. Now they cannot be reforged right now. I think we just have to get higher level to do that. We've got enough to roll one more shield. So let's do that. Hope for some speed. Oh, we did not get any speed. That's kind of rough, but that's fine. We'll just gain some more brimstone and essence through our realm dives. So this guy, we're going to give him, let's do, he's not going to be a primary attacker because he's going to use Fire Arrow. So let's kind of focus on spell damage actually isn't going to be as useful. We're going to want to give spell damage to the guy casting Shock. So afflict scorn on hit, speed, spell damage is actually 26% spell damage there versus 23% there. You know, maybe so. Maybe this is good. It's going to be a little bit more of a boss killer. I think that we should give this guy Wallop. Yeah, that's going to be good on him because he's going to cast Frost Arrow once and then just be attacking the whole time. We know for a fact that we're going to want to give this guy spell damage plus 26% and 13% speed. That's going to be fantastic. I think that this heavy shield is better than the other heavy shield we could give out. Actually, I definitely do not want him to have Berserk. Not good for him. Attack 22%, probably okay. And Mace, defense, penetration, more damage to sorcery. This is fine. I mean, we're kind of futzing around a bit too much in the early game. So this video is running a little bit longer than I want it to, but I do want to try out this macro and see how this works, as well as test out turbo mode properly. So we'll go right into a battle, and then I'm going to hold E this whole time and see what happens. So macro appeared to work there. It used Mend or Nourish. It looked like it used it again. Okay, so does not have enough mana to cast this spell, so obviously this guy, we have to hold down Q and then attack, Q and then attack, Q, Q and then attack. Yeah, so the macro, I think, worked properly for the Imp Hexer. But I'm not 100% positive. I don't remember seeing Shock actually happen. So we'll have to go a little slower just to see. I just want to make sure that that macro works before I cut this video off. I do think that I'm going to play a good bit of Siralim, so we can expect this to be potentially a long-running series. So this is just going to be episode 1 of many. I don't know how long I'll play it for, but we'll play it for a while and see what happens. I think this is a boss of some kind. No, but it is going to be a difficult battle. So we'll just hold down E for a little while. Alright, so I want to see if this macro... Okay, so it used Nourish. That's fine. I'm going to do this until we get back to him. Fire Arrow on unenemy. Okay, so if I use macro, he should use Shock here. And he did use Shock. Perfect. And then next time when it comes back around, he should attack. So doesn't have enough mana, attack. So again, I will do the rest of the macros off camera. And so the attacks finish everybody out, so we didn't get back around. But it looks like macros are the way to do things. And if we set everyone to the correct macro, then it looks like it's going to be just about perfect. So this kind of advances the story a little bit. I'm not too concerned about the story. Some of you may be a little more invested than I am, but I care about this for the battling. Salvaging. The Salvager allows you to break down your unwanted artifacts into crafting materials. So yeah, perfect. This is definitely a useful guy. Basically, as you grab artifacts that you don't want, you send them to the Salvager, you turn it into more crafting materials that you can turn around and craft cooler stuff. And it's definitely a game that has crafting grinding as well, where you're going to sit there and you're going to craft 20 things hoping to get one that's actually decent. So, and it even, you know, foreshadows the fact that you're going to get an enchanter later. So that's part of the feedback loop for gear is you're going to deconstruct, craft, enchant, repeat until you get more and more powerful artifacts that you also will reforge to try to get max stats on. It'll sound very Diablo-esque here in some regards. So anyways, I think that that's where I'm going to stop this video for now. What is this white amber? So that's for enchanting, which we obviously can't do right now. But anyways, thank you all so very much for watching. This is Runt9 Plays Siralim 3, and I'll see you on the next episode. Later, everyone.